Well, thanks so much for joining us on today's episode of Techbridge on Lagos Television. This is where we connect all the dots for you around the world of technology. What we do is to ensure that we pick all the dots from wherever we can find them and put them together on this show so that you have a very good information around technology working for you, making sure you achieve the very best of results when it comes to deploying technology to achieve whatever you want to achieve. I'm Sheyifomi Olatide. Welcome to Techbridge on Lagos Television today. So it's still all about pushing the conversation forward about the strength women bring to whatever sector they find themselves. The entire month of March has been dedicated to women in whatever sphere you want to look at it, and technology is also not left out. So we are pushing the conversation forward. It is not just about the celebration part of it. Of course, we celebrate women every now and then, but beyond the celebration part, we also need to look at some other issues around it. And we talk about the need for accepting the fact that there is a strength in every woman that does not make her inferior to any man. And beyond that is also the need for self-confidence and the need to change this orientation of being stereotyped in some sectors. So all of that conversations are going to be looked at on today's episode of Techbridge. And we've got great speakers, great guests on today's show. Yes, I said guests. So stay with me. It's still Techbridge on Lagos Television. Well, thanks for staying with Techbridge on Lagos Television. We've been talking about the need to push the conversation beyond just a day to celebrate women. It's actually about talking about women and the strength they bring. Recently, the International Women's Day was celebrated, and it wasn't just about the party side to it. It's about bringing out germane issues around women. And Google also had something around that as well recently, and there are a lot of speakers. They were talking about great things that we should listen to. So I'm just going to bring some excerpts of that, and I'm sure it's not just going to be for women alone. Men alike are also going to benefit from this, and it's not just limited to the tech space. Of course, we are focusing on tech space, but this knowledge, this idea, this inspiration can be transferred to other sectors wherever we want to apply them. So the very first person I'm going to be bringing up as an insert is talking about the fact that women also need to have this self-confidence within them. They don't have to always think that the male folk is always after them, that the male folk is always superior to them. They also need to accept themselves as a creature, as a complete creature that can also do anything that a man can do, that can excel in whatever sphere they find themselves. It's still talking about technology, and I've always mentioned on this show that technology has no gender face to it. So we should stop thinking around this stereotype or thought that a certain gender can thrive better in the tech space. So let's pick this first guest talking about the need for women to have this self-confidence and also accept themselves for who they are without thinking that the male folk is always going to be against them. Stay with me.
You know, we know that certainly without a doubt that the gender gap is a real issue. We all know that, and we've all experienced it. And we must all continuously challenge it. We know from several studies that the strength of a team depends on its diversity. And it is also well known but much ignored truth that one party does not need to be disempowered for the other to be empowered. We know that in diversity, growth, learning, and innovation happens. And what the very accomplished Her Excellency Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala said is very important. In all our discussions about gender equality, we should be interrogating our own thinking and even our own stereotyping, both men and women. When I started my internship at the firm that I worked for at the time, it was an investment firm called Fieldstone in New York. I was the only young Black female intern from Africa. And, you know, I was amongst all these Americans, white Americans from Ivy League universities. And therefore, I assumed that I was being judged on this. It was one of those moments when you start to have negative thoughts about your own abilities and begin to doubt yourself for no good reason. It's a default pattern for many of us people. But then I realized it wasn't personal. You know, it was also about the ability to move towards and engage with those people working in that environment. These were people who wanted a job done, and whether they liked me or not was irrelevant. So one big lesson to me was never to assume that because someone is not the same gender as you, or the same color as you, or the same age as you, that they will necessarily treat you the same. My break came from a male mentor at Fieldstone, and you know, sometimes support comes from the most unlikely places. If you're willing to grasp that opportunity and run with it, great things can happen, as I certainly saw. I worked very hard and ended up from being an intern becoming one of the vice presidents in the firm before I decided to leave. I think what it is that it's really a focus on driving diversity. It's leadership that champions diversity. You can't expect growth in an environment from the same type of people. We need to be utilizing technology to tap into our diversified culture. Let's use all the people we have to do so. And as the environment is changing, we have to access different perspectives. We acknowledge that, you know, people have different competencies, capabilities, experience, as well as their drive and engagement. And all of these things are key to success.
There's no doubt that COVID-19 pandemic has led seriously to the overall global, regional, and national efforts in achieving gender equality during this decade of action. There's not men can do that women cannot do. It is only what women cannot do that cannot be done by anybody.
Thanks for staying with me. We still got a lot of such inspirational words around the need for women to push the conversation beyond now. And I'm going to go to this second person. And this second guest is talking about the fact that technology has provided a level playing ground for everybody. So regardless of your race or your gender or your educational qualification, there is always a space for you in the tech space. And if you don't just grab it, you probably begin to feel like you are left behind or someone is superior to you. There is always a place for you. And this person also speaks further that beyond the beauty that women carry, there is also the need to acquire knowledge. People say that the true beauty is not just in the outlook, it's actually about what you have on the inside of you. And the tech space is not left out. Yes, beauty is good, but the inner knowledge that you have that you can showcase, especially in the tech space, is also key. So women need to also begin to look beyond the beauty. Yes, they must always look good, but they must also have something upstairs, something that they can showcase that can make them have this confidence about themselves in the tech space, because otherwise this conversation will not be complete. We'll keep saying it again and again. But these are some of the things women need to begin to explore. So let's go for the second guest. It's still Techbridge on Lagos Television.
I lead by staying innovative, staying very innovative and very creative. For me, I believe that technology has created a platform, like a level playing ground for everyone to play on. And it's just a matter of how well you're able to translate your ideas using technology. So I lead in what I do by constantly staying very innovative, innovative in terms of coming up with better ideas, better solutions to profit to those who not just follow me, but to the general public at large. And I also lead by arming myself with the right knowledge and information that always puts me ahead. So without knowledge, without the right information, you can't do anything. And technology has made it very easy for us now. For example, anyone can go on YouTube or Google and just type out something and type out a question, and you get the answer to it. And most of the things that I know today, I actually learned by taking advantage of online courses, the platforms like Google and platforms like YouTube as well, to acquire all of the knowledge and information that I have today. So yes, technology has played a vital role, but I also have a vital role to play by acquiring much knowledge and information that puts me ahead in my game, helps me thrive and do my work a whole lot better and effectively. Something else that I do to lead and stay ahead is I also surround myself with other business professionals that actually also help my work a lot easier. So when I first started out, I had just me and my smartphone, and I was able to do what I did. But as I was growing and trying to get myself to the next level in my business, I discovered the importance of arming myself with strong business professionals. For example, a lawyer will guide me in the legal aspect of my business. An accountant, for example, would also help in the financial aspect. And the list goes on and on. Now I have a team of production, like a production team that helps with my production and helps ensure that my ideas are translated into the right way, the best way possible. So yeah, so technology has really helped me with that. I'm able to stay ahead by using all of the benefits that technology provides.
Thanks for staying with Techbridge on Lagos Television. We've been talking about the need to push the conversation beyond just a day to celebrate women. It is a lot more than that. And if you ask me, it is a daily conversation, and that is why I'm doing this. I'm not a woman, really, and one of the allegations is the fact that men are not speaking out enough. So probably that is part of the reasons I'm also doing this episode also for women. Still same month of March dedicated to women across the world. So I'm gonna go straight to the third guest, still talking about some of the excerpts from the International Women's Day marked by Google, and we got those videos courtesy Google. We must mention that, give credit to that as well. So we appreciate that. So this person is actually a man, Dr. Ali, and from South Africa. He's so passionate about this topic to the point that he said that it is not just about the fact that men are trying to, should I say, suppress women. It is actually the need for women to have this self-awareness about the strength they carry. It is beyond knowing that, okay, women needs to be given some space and they just get the space. Getting the space is not enough, but thriving in the space they acquire in the tech space is also key. So the self-awareness about the strength they carry, the offer, the juice they can add to the entire mix is very key, because if women are not so aware of this, things might not go as planned or as expected. So Dr. Ali's changing the narrative here, and beyond that, it's also saying that it is all about the sense of leadership. Wherever we find ourselves, leadership is key. It doesn't have to come with a title. It's about responsibility. So some women think that leadership is meant for men alone in the tech space, so they must also find a way to work in a tech company that is owned by male so that it can be better run. So these are some of the stereotypes we should begin to change in the tech space. It is beyond all of this, should I call them misconceptions. And another thing we should also note is the fact that men need to speak out more. And men need to throw their weight behind anything that has to do with giving women that level playing ground more than ever before. Because according to Dr. Ali, men have enough space already. They've gotten a lot of spaces, a lot of positions, a lot of conviction around the world that they can do a lot of things more than women. So the narrative is changing. Don't let me just say it all. Dr. Ali will just take it from here. It's still Techbridge on Lagos Television.
I think the first thing is about self-awareness. If you want to change anything, you need to be aware of it. You need to call it out, right? So I think society has taught us so much learned behavior, religion, culture, you name it. To be presumptuous is a symbol of privilege. I think we live in a society that has given men so many privileges that it's just so natural. And I think men have to think about that consciously and say, there is something not right about this, you know? Why do we see this gender parity as a difficult thing? Why don't we just have equality? Why don't we stop seeing women as one homogeneous group and see them as unique, special individuals who come from different places and must be treated, you know, in a specific way according to their own expressed needs? So I think it's very important. I think we also need to be intentional about our work relationships, you know. So some people tend to be taskmasters, you know, they just want to get the job done. They don't care much about building or nurturing relationships. Mm-hmm. Some people tend to be relationship builders. So they actually get work done through nurturing relationships and, you know, forming networks and collaborations. Some people tend to bring their passions and emotions to work, and they wear them and they express them. And some of their colleagues can handle emotions. Some colleagues can't handle emotions. And why do we equate emotions to weakness? You know, why do we see it as passion because somebody feels strongly about something and not treat them like they're coming from a position of weakness? I also think that a very, very important thing is to learn the difference between ego and self-esteem. Ego is a very dangerous and destructive thing. It leads to offense. It leads to, you know, power abuse. It leads to, positions of privilege and so on. Whereas self-esteem is something that all of us are born with. We need to nurture it. Self-esteem helps us to see others as equals. And self-esteem also helps us coexist peacefully, where we don't compete with each other, you know, where it doesn't take for someone to be weak for someone to be great or strong. Leadership is a privilege that comes with corresponding responsibilities. Leadership is a big job. It's tough. I don't want to lead at all times. I can't. I'm not capable of it. I'm not an expert on all topics, and I should therefore not try and lead. And I think very, very importantly, we have to have a culture of learning where we realize that we constantly have to learn. And, you know, they say those that do not read should not lead. So we should read. There's lots of help out there.
Well, thanks for staying with Techbridge on Lagos Television. We've been talking about the need to push the conversation beyond just a day to celebrate women, and not just ordinary conversation. We are focusing on the tech space. There are some professions that are kind of tied to women, kind of in our mind, in our subconscious, and the tech space is probably not one of them. And this episode is also to reaffirm that statement that technology has no gender face to it. There is no gender bias in the tech space, and there is no race bias as well. It's all about the knowledge you have about what you want to do and just fly with it. So thanks to all those guests that raise their voice about the need to push this conversation forward. We've talked about the fact that women need to have this self-awareness about the strengths they carry, acquire more knowledge beyond the beauty that they have, and beyond that, men also need to have this conviction that women can do it, just the same way men can also do it. And in the tech space, it is a level playing ground. Technology itself gives a level playing ground, so both men and women are welcome. So regardless of what we do, regardless of the area of specialization we pick in the tech space, you can excel regardless of your gender. So probably we should just stop stereotyping tech space to male alone, and we'll see how it goes from there. So it's still Techbridge on Lagos Television. I go for this quick break, and I'll be right back. Well, thanks for staying tuned to Lagos Television, Techbridge on Lagos Television, and that's our episode today. We can't finish all the conversation today. It's beyond just a show. It is a daily conversation, and I hope that another person is encouraged to do more, especially a girl child, a female out there, and we can just make the tech space a better place for everyone to thrive. So that's the show today. Many thanks for connecting. Remember that you can connect with Techbridge on Facebook, and that is Techbridge LTV. And on YouTube, we also Techbridge LTV as well. Remember to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel so that you can have a prompt of this fresh episode and all other previous episodes as we upload them. You can also download them. You are free to download any of these episodes and watch them again and again. So till some other time, keep innovating, keep leveraging on technology, and keep achieving more. I am Shegi Fomi Olatide. Bye for now.